special notation for naming the file? Or is it up to the individual?
I don't think there's an explicit notation for it, but I usually put the tool name and then the date that I've updated it on.
Yeah. So yeah, like what happened, SMD 440 and the date. Yeah. Right. So yeah, that's the summary sheet. That's your primary responsibility is filling this out. Anthony sent you a blank summary sheet, which is the latest summary sheet for 635s. So keep an eye out from Hamid Karam to see if there's an update to the summary sheet. Sometimes it changes during your ATP, which is annoying, but it happens. It's just how business works. So make sure to keep out for that and keep posted on what all the latest specs are for all the items. Okay? Perfect. So, yep, that's all I was going to say about the summary sheet. And the last thing is ATP check sheets. Okay. So this is getting into the nitty-gritty, okay? But they are still good for you to flip through so you can know exactly what's happening. They're the sheets that field service uses to actually run the ATP tests. So it tells you like what recipes to use and what exposure recipes, what measurement recipes, like how long each test takes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hey. Oh. Oh right, yeah. I should just be like closing it. Okay, yeah. That's a problem. Yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah, I'll probably have to open it occasionally to retrieve stuff from my email. But yeah, I'll just remember to close it after I retrieve stuff. Cool, thank you. Okay. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, ATP check sheets. Okay. So I made a thing here for ATP check sheets somewhere. Yep, cool. ATP check sheets. So, have y'all used Technical Center on the Focal Point yet? Okay, I'm sure you've learned how to use it in training and all. There is a check sheet. There's this thing called the check sheet portal. Y'all been here, by the way? Check sheet portal? Okay. If you haven't, it's all right. So there's this thing called check sheet kernel library, okay? It shows you procedure. It shows all kinds of field service procedures to do all kinds of stuff, all right? Some sustaining, some install related, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, it shows the procedures for all the ATP work, if you know what to search for. So in the guide on slide 21, there is a key. It shows you how to find ATP check sheets. So I'll just copy this in here. So basically, you search the check sheet library for a certain term. 631E, depending on what kind of install you're doing. There's one for 631s. There's a term for 635s. But I'll just do it for 631s now. Find a file, paste that in here. And let's say I wanted to find the procedures for ATP number 1, wafer loader repeatability. So I just type 1. Good. Cool. And this will come up. 631, ATP1, Intel, and the revision number. But if you're using this procedure that I've described on slide 21, you're guaranteed to get the latest revision of the check sheet. The revision number is the last number. But yeah, if you use this procedure, you're guaranteed to get the latest one. Cool. So yeah, open a check sheet. There's a revision history, stuff for service, and yeah. Basically, in here, it tells you the recipe to use, and exactly how the test is done on the service side. So this is good for a lot of reasons. A, so you know how long the test takes, and B, you're not like, why isn't this test getting done? Oh wait, it takes 5 days. That's why it's not getting done. And B, so you just learn more about stuff you need to look out for while evaluating ATP. Yeah, so this tells you literally everything about the test you need to know. So, like I said, you don't need to read all of these now or pretty much ever, but it's good to flip through. It's good to flip through them once in a while to make sure you know exactly what's going on with certain ATP tests. So yeah, I included that. It's a bigger deal for service than y'all, but yeah, just know it's there, and you might need to look something up in the check sheet from time to time. Okay, cool. So did that cover all the like important ATP documents, man? Besides maybe like the folder, structure and stuff like that. That's not even like really a document, though, I guess. So, all right. So those are the most important documents: the install pass down, the spec sheet, and these check sheets. Cool. All right. So now I've been really vague so far and just told you stuff that like generally applies to ATP. Now we can get a little more specific and talk about like the individual tests and what they do and stuff. Right? So for that, I made something new. I know I sent it to you guys in the email, at least this slide. I sent an image of this slide, right? So yeah, this is a list of ATP tests and the areas they correspond to. We can talk about it a little bit. So yeah, you see, there's a lot of imaging tests. Most of the tests are imaging related, either IIU related or LC related. There's some focus tests. There's some overlay tests. There's a few miscellaneous ones, and then there's customer tests. So the customer tests are just the ones I'd like to get out of the way first. So basically, these are just ones of the tests that the customer likes to run themselves for various reasons, and they're like CD uniformity, CD via whole circularity, stuff like that. The biggest one of these is usually defects, emergent defects, and all. The customer has their own special, they use their own special recipes, resists, defect measurement metrology, and etc. So they like to run that test themselves. So yeah, that's the only immersion test. If you'll notice, none of these tests are immersion. Yeah, the only immersion test is the one that's run by the customer. So none of these Nikon ATP tests are going to involve immersion. But yeah, in general, customer does all these tests near the end of ATP after most of the Nikon tests are done. And like I say, you won't have to worry about them unless you're probably on immersion team and you have to worry about the defectivity test. But yeah, for now, let's not worry about that. So yeah, so basically, you'll notice that it's not like in super good order either. Like not all the imaging tests are grouped together, not all the focus tests are grouped together, et cetera, et cetera. The numbering's kind of weird and arbitrary. It used to be probably that they would do, the tests in order, ATP 1 first, ATP 2, yada, 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 et cetera. But nowadays, we kind of just do tests whenever they fit in. Whenever the schedule allows for certain tests to be done. There's obviously some tests that have to be done first. Like a lot of the tests, like SMO and MMO, involve ID 6015. Well, to do that, you need ID 6015 to be set up first. So you need to do ATP 10, ATP 8, and ATP 10, ATP 12. You have to do all of those for ID 6015 first before you can do SMO and MMO. But yeah, in general, like the order is pretty random, and it's just made where time allows. But yeah, so how I'm going to go through this is I'm going to go through top to bottom. I'm going to do like the illumination tests first, and then the focus test, then the overlay tests. Okay.